Good morning, everyone. So this is a beautiful, beautiful program which is going on for women achievers. Now, who is achievers? They are someone um, very special. So I think of an achiever as somebody who makes difference. It doesn't matter how old this achiever is, what their identity is, or how many awards they have under their belt, as long as their life's work helps they motivate you to learn more, improve, and be proud of the voice they have, and set off the chart of your journey. It is more than enough to qualify you as an achiever. We have been privileged to be able to share the stories of such inspiring women achievers from all walks and fields as we celebrate women achievers today. That is day 2 of our program. Let's take a look at the experiences and life lessons these women has taught us. These are the girls who dream big, and age cannot limit your dreams. And these women prove that. So we welcome Meena ji to introduce our special VIP guest, Mynoo ji. So over to Meena ji. Please start.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And just to let you know, my name is Meena Anand, and my mother lovingly would call me Mynoo. So it's a very big connection with Mynoo and Mynoo ji. I'm not that Mynoo ji, but she's a very special Mynoo ji. And just to let you know about her, Mynoo Maryel ji is all about inspiring the world through enriching lives and restoring dignity. She mentors people to be inspired human beings, inspired leaders, and responsible businesses. She's a thought leader introducing World to World Dignity Forum, which is kind of parallel to World Economic Forum with the World Fame Solutionaries. And also she's an authority on inspired relationship index. She's a visionary, she's a spiritual confidant, an acclaimed business mentor. She introduces people to get an experience to expect and accept miracles. For her, miracles are the norm of life, and I've been experiencing that too ever since I came in contact with her. And her idea is all of us to get an experience of extraordinary results and be in the state of JEGO. JEGO. JEGO means joy, ease, grace, omnipresent. She's an acclaimed author, and she's written many books. Her B book is my all-time favorite, which I'm going to share with you here. All-time B book. It's like a handbook. We call it Bible for our life situations.
Wow, that's great.
So, yeah. And out of love and respect, I'm dedicating one poem, which is in Hindi. My flow comes in Hindi, and I can do some translation if you want. But the gist is, basically, she told us we are our own guru. I was looking for guru who can inspire me to be a better human being. And she said, we are our own God, own guru. Everything is within us. Brahma, God, Guru, Brahman, everything is us. So I dedicate this poem. This will be my introduction through my poem. The title is Zindagi Kaisi Hai Paheli. Zindagi Kaisi Hai Paheli, मिला दी तूने मुझे एक सहेली. गुरु, मेंटर, गाइड, क्या कहूं? सखी कहूं, सखा कहूं. नाम ही ना हो जिन रिश्तों का, इन बेनाम रिश्तों को क्या कहूं? दिया जिसने अनजान ना समझ को अपनी उंगलियों का सहारा, थामा मैंने जो उनका हाथ, अपने से अपन को मिला दिया सारा. मुलाकात जो हुई अपने से, जाना कि ये तो है पुराना किस्सा. अब तन मन ये जाने समझे है कि हम ही हैं गुरु, हम ही हैं ब्रह्म, हम ही हैं ब्रह्मांड का हिस्सा. Thank you. And I dedicate this poem to her, which wow. With my miracle lens, this is what I see.
Wow.
And you all will experience that. Thank you.
That's great. And you have said it very beautifully. Very beautiful out of your heart.
Out of my heart, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please, Mynoo ji, you can proceed with your talk.
Thank you.
And the theme today is work-life balance, the 7 myths that bust the work-life balance conundrum once for all. So we would like to have your opinion, wisdom, and knowledge on this subject. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. You know, for me, I was, I was a single mom for a big part of my life, and therefore, and lived in London. So I really, really worked it. You know, I had a project created work-life balance that I worked with myself. And really worked it. And what it did was it just kept eluding me and eluding me and eluding me. Every time I thought I'd cracked the code, something or the other would happen, and whatever system I had created to manage this work-life balance would just go out of the window. And hence the conundrum. Let's understand what a conundrum is. A conundrum is a confusing or a difficult problem or a question, a problem that's difficult to deal with. I certainly experienced that as a problem that was difficult to deal with until I embarked on my journey of spiritual awakening. This is in 2010, and went through a whole series of awakenings. And just when I thought that, right, I've got it, I have now retired, and this is what I am to, this is how I am to be, and this is where I am to be and stuff in Bali, overlooking the rice fields and all of that. That wasn't really what the divine had in plan. And, I left Bali for a very specific body of work that I was doing when I started doing this journey into miracles, and we're building a palace of extraordinary miracles. I was traveling the world, and the volcano erupted. So even though I had my home there in Bali, I just was not for 3 years. For 2 years, I would go as far as Singapore often, and the airport would be closed. I wasn't able to go into Bali until I decided that, okay, Bali was saying, your time here is done, and you're meant to go out into the world. So, okay, I completed my time in Bali, and then I really spent a lot of time in India and moved from there. All of this was really bringing in place little pieces of jigsaw that came together to bust the myth of this work-life balance conundrum. And it really has busted once and for all. And I share this. I have a business collective that I work with, Federation 100. These are leaders in business, men, women, all of them, of different ages, different parts of the world. And I teach it to them as well. And they actually live a life with JEGO, joy, ease, grace, omnipresent. So I'm talking about busting the myth. It's important to understand what these words mean so that as I expand into it, you really start busting the myth for yourself. A myth is a symbolic narrative. I mean, it's usually, sort of unknown, comes from an unknown origin. And yet it's become like a traditional way in which we live our life. So there are so many traditional conversations that happen around work-life balance. And I'm about to bust that myth. The first myth that I'm busting here is the myth of balance itself. Now, think about a balance, right? In children's playground, there is that thing called the seesaw, where you have one child on either side and they're going up and down. So just imagine as if you're standing in the middle of the seesaw and you have your foot and you're attempting to balance, right? Sure, your thigh muscles and calf muscles will get very toned, but you are like constantly on the edge. Wherever you look, you're constantly on the edge. You can't engage yourself in anything but maintaining balance. So this whole idea of finding balance keeps you on the edge, out of balance constantly. I'm actually going to go through the 7 myths, and then I'm going to tell you how do you bust past these myths and what is it that you do instead. But first, let's really get what these myths are. This whole idea of finding balance keeps you out of balance. And I say to people, anything I say, you can apply in all areas of your life, but ground it in reality. So pick an area of your life that you are attempting to keep in balance. And just look at do a lay of the land. Look at how many things you are handling in that area. that you're attempting to keep in balance? For me, I'll use a very simple example. I chose a time every day, which is my me time. So in my me time, I was like, okay, nothing else is going to come in the way of that. And that was a very important part of me retaining balance throughout the day. This is before I bust the conundrum. And I realized there were so many interferences, even in terms of my thoughts, that kept coming in my me time. And the fact that it was like, oh no, this is my me time, I can't allow this to be here, was keeping me out of balance and actually taking away those precious minutes from my me time itself. Or I'm spending some time with my friends, and a work call comes in. No, I can't take it. This is my time with friends. Part of my mind starts going into, well, I wonder what that call was about. You immediately interrupt your presence with your friends. Keeps you out of balance. This whole idea of balance keeps you out of balance. This whole visual of standing on the seesaw and attempting to balance is the perfect one to tell you what actually happens when you take on balance in anything. And work and life, oh my God, two huge parts of work and home, two huge parts of your existence, and you're attempting to balance them. Let's look at the second myth that we are going to bust today. The second myth is separation. This whole idea that work is separate from home, or life, as we sometimes call it. What it's doing here is you've got your foot in two camps. And when you have your foot in two camps, the camps have got different needs. They're different environments. They've got different dynamics, and you could be pulled in one direction. And then what happens, to the other one? But we are talking about two very strong camps with a very solid foundation, with powerful energies that draw on you. So when you separate them like this, you're like literally doing the splits all the time. And if you don't watch it, it could just literally tear you apart, which it does often. When people burn out, what is that? When people feel that they're doing the best they can at work, but when they come home, the family doesn't feel that there's enough time being spent there with them. So then they start doing the best they can at home. And then, they hear at work that, oh, well, you aren't focused, you're not concentrating at work or whatever. They split their energy. So what happens when you split your energy is you actually start depleting your own vitality. The reality is, whatever happens at home, good or bad, you always take that vibe to work. You always do. It has a direct impact on your work. Whatever occurs at work, the good or bad, you always take that vibration back home. So it has an impact at home. So why pretend that they are separate? They're not. Most of your awake time you're spending at work, whatever it is that you're doing. That's just a fact of life. So why separate them? And, if I call the COVID times the crown phenomenon, it really has had an impact on opening up our crowns. So if the crown phenomenon has anything to do with all of this separating home and work, and suddenly everybody was working from home, didn't matter how large or small your home was, everything was right there. We've all had a little bit of a cellular memory of how to work and spend time with family all in one. Chop your carrots while doing a Zoom call. I'm not propagating that you do that all the time, but I'm just saying it is possible. And it can be very effective and quite nurturing and fulfilling. So this separation is a myth. Busted. The third myth that we are busting today is boundaries. I was a great boundary creator. My work was work, sacrosanct. Even if I socialized with my work people, I socialized with my work people. Did not mix them with my home, family, or friends. Really, what happens is you land up creating blocks, and you don't enjoy either. Now think about it, you're going from one place to another. I mean, think about it, nation boundaries. You go from one nation to another, you have to go through immigration and all that stuff. There's several hurdles that you go through when you cross one boundary to another. When you have a home and you have a life, you have a life at home and you have a life at work, and you boundary them every day, you're going through various hurdles. Transcending from, crossing from one, nation type vibe to another. So it creates a collection of hurdles. It's like you don't enjoy either. It's as if you're marking the limits. And there's like a tight dividing line that you're going to go across. So it actually creates unnecessary tension. I'm not saying that, you keep chatting to your child or to your mother whilst you're in the middle of a project. There's a way in which you structure your time. And I'm not talking about time management in the traditional sense. Maybe another session can be all about the way I suggest you work with time when you're busting this conundrum. But the idea of becoming strict, that there is a boundary, is actually a myth. Because vibrationally, internally, subconscious level, and sometimes even conscious level, there are no boundaries. There is you. So if you wish to have all of you present, and when all of you is present, you actually deliver your best work. When all of you is present, people you relate to feel seen, feel they belong, feel they are received, feel loved. That's what occurs. So why would you demark yourself? To me, all days work, all days play. If I'm not feeling I'm playing, it's becoming hard, then I'm not working either, actually. The fourth myth we are busting today is this necessity. One is a necessity and the other is not. When my child was born, he was young. Me being a mother at home was a necessity. Work was not. But I had a team of, at that time, 54 people that reported to me. And sure, I was on maternity leave. But there was a part of me that was constantly thinking about that. And it's become worse since we've got emails and, our iPhones and all sorts of stuff to constantly be able for people to be able to contact us. But why would you have something that is more necessary than another taking up your vital life force? You don't actually, you're not stupid. You don't. You're actually very, very intelligent. They both are equally necessary. They both contribute equally to your vital life force. I don't have much time to give to the family. You plan your own outings because I have this project that I've got to get going, keep doing until it is done. That is a necessity of the hour. Well, there's a part of you that is now occupied by what's the family up to? The guilt starts to build up. So it interferes with you actually doing a great job. I'm a great propagator for anything that I engage in. I totally believe my time is never wasted. Anything I engage in calls for my full presence, and it is necessary, otherwise I would not be doing it. So I'm here fully present, knowing that my time is never wasted. I'm able to get the job done much faster than managing this. Oh, this is not that much of a priority. That isn't. Well, if it's taking your attention every day, your home takes your attention, whether you're there or not. Every day, your work takes your attention, whether you have work or you don't have work. The work part does. So bust this myth. Whatever you're engaged in is necessary, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. Honor your own choices, your own dignity. The fifth one is all about this anxiety and worry. It's like there's like a juxtaposition going on. Work, there's anxiety that's there. And I worry about people at home. Is everything okay? Am I giving it sufficient time? Oh, I wonder if this job is done or not. And then there's anxiety about, I'm not sure if this can be achieved or not. So it's like the anxiety, worry. We are like going backwards and forwards with. Now, what does that do? It is like, even if you choose, I'm not going to engage with this until you have bust this myth that anxiety and worry as an undertone remain. You keep that undertone of worry about people at home or your loved ones, and you keep that anxiety propelling, even if it is subdued right at the bottom. What it does is it just multiplies. Because remember, you have one very powerful ally. Every time you take a breath, this ally is with you, like your super executive assistant. That is the universe. The universe is here at your beck and call. It is delivering whatever support you require, exactly as you ordered it. And how do you order the universe? Through your vibrations. And how does the universe actually work? It has only one modus operandi, which is a multiplier effect. It multiplies what it believes you want more of. So when you are in this anxiety, worry space, it thinks that that's what you want more of, and it multiplies that. Anxiety at work, worry at home. It's like, oh, what kind of a person are you if you're not worried about people at home? Well, I really don't want the universe to multiply that. How can you not be anxious about work? You're not taking it seriously. Well, I'm getting the job done. What's there to be anxious about? I want the universe to get the job done over and over with me. Bust this myth. There's nothing proper about or good or even about anxiety or worry in any form at all. Drop the guilt if you have any of that. The sixth myth is the have to and need to. Have to work, need to be there with my family. When you live your life with a I have to or I need to, there is an undertone. There's an undertone of either resentment or regret. The question I say to people to ask is, if you didn't have to, and if you didn't need to, would you still choose to do this? And if you would, go do it. If your answer is no, but you've been doing this all the time, well, maybe it's time to just shift. The have to need to is a big myth. This I have to maintain work-life balance. I remember in the very early days, I'm talking about in the early 90s or mid 90s or so, in the UK, I was working in London at the time, all these large corporations started creating these big projects, which is all about home work balance. And they started having this working from home and all those kind of strategies. And then it became like a domino effect. We have to have a home work balance strategy. Well, then people at home had a whole collection of additional compliances that they had to follow. And who were the first group of people that were most impacted by this? A lot of women who had either recently given birth or were caretaking somebody else in the family. So they not only had their work cut out in terms of the support that they were giving to their family, they had this additional compliance governance stuff that they needed to do because they were choosing to take all of this company property and work from home, and they had to deliver the work as well. So this myth of I have to and I need to, the bottom line is you don't have to do anything. You don't choose to. You don't need to do anything. You don't choose to. If you engage in, I have to do this, that's why I'm doing it. Well, you have made that choice. That, okay, I buy into it, I will do it under duress. So really what you're saying is, I have to do this, that's why I'm doing it. You're actually saying, I'm doing it under duress. So the people that are putting you under duress could be a company or could be your family. There's a resentment that starts to tick, tick, tick. The universe goes, oh, maybe she likes this resentment. Okay, let's just give her some more of that. Where is the balance? The seventh myth is the should and should nots. It should be this way. This should not be this way. Well, there is actually no fixed way a thing should be or should not be. We've all lived through the 2 years of COVID, which really bust that myth in every area of our life, every area of governance. There is really no fixed way things should or should not be. They simply are. And you choose whether you wish to work with that or not. I should be spending at least 4 hours of quality time with my family. I should be reading a storybook to my child every night. I should be. My goodness, you go into that rushed. There's a bit of guilt that is there. There's a little bit of like huffing and puffing if the child doesn't quite react or respond or takes too long to decide whether they want to listen to the story or not. I mean, seriously, drop this myth. There is nothing, no fixed way things should or should not be. They simply are. And you choose whether you wish to or not. So now, okay, all of these myths, let's say you bust them. So what do you do instead? There is home and there is work. What's called for is not balance. It's about harmony. It's about finding a harmony. Now, what is a harmony? Harmony in a music context, well, it's really a combination of parts that results in a very pleasing, orderly whole. That's what harmony is. So you recognize the individual parts. And what are you engaged in is bringing those together into a pleasing, orderly whole. You can, this way, you can tackle all the different areas of your life, be it career, be it health, be it relationships, and you can actually get them to work together creatively. And that is what becomes the rocket fuel for you to progress forward. There are 7 simple rules in finding harmony in life. I read somewhere. And it really is all about, just really getting that even in disharmony, in disharmony, find harmony even in a state of disharmony. Where is their harmony? Acknowledge that. Learn that the universe is with you. It is going to multiply that which you give your attention to. What does it actually feel to you when you are in this state of harmony? If you can't figure it out for yourself, just listen to some music that you really love. How does that feel in your body? So if you get into a state of disharmony, connect with, at this point, Is there somewhere that I can already feel that harmony still exists? It gets you reconnected, starts bringing you back into a state of harmony. Work is life. Life is work. Is the second rule. Live your life, not anybody else's. Drop the need to, have to, should nots. Learn, unlearn if necessary, relearn if necessary. Don't beat yourself up about not knowing. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do, do it with passion. That's rule number 5. If you were to drop dead right now, there'll be some things you're satisfied about, some things you're not. If you were to drop dead in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, 50 years' time, some things you'll be satisfied about, some things you're not. So what does it matter? It's the same. Live your passion now. Find your sparkle. Find your sparkle. Know what it is that makes you sparkle. I call it the yumminess. Do your yummy yucky test. Your body is your best indicator. And if it means just looking up at the sky, creates a sparkle in you, that's a great pattern interrupt. If you're getting overwhelmed or out of harmony, look up at the sky, whatever it may be. It could be a photograph. I have a photograph of my grandson, when he was little, and his big beaming smile where they don't have any teeth, and you just can't imagine them what they would look like with teeth on. I have one of those. It's a great pattern interrupt. It's my sparkle. And the other thing to know is that listen, life, it's a state that you have been given. And it's a state in which an organism is breathing. And that state can shift like that. The organism stops breathing. It's not a rehearsal. There is only one purpose to this life. It's literally showtime and it's game on. There's only one purpose to life, which is to come alive. And if you engage in what is it that brings you alive, you are in a constant state of harmony. So drop the work-life balance and embrace, rise up, stand in your center with a strong foundation that enables you to expand and deepens your roots to such an extent that you are solid. You can be in your authority, you can be in your gravitas, and you can literally go forth and multiply. That is the state of harmony. That's how you ultimately bust out of this conundrum, and it's gone once and for all. That's what I want to say. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mynoo. And these were pearls of wisdom, I should say, nuggets of wisdom. They're very profound. And I know your communication is cellular level, so it will be sinking in us, and we all will be gaining out of it. Much gratitude. Well, I have just 2 or 3 questions, if I can ask you. Yes, I want to know, what are your biggest challenge? What have been your biggest challenge, and what are your biggest challenge, and how do you overcome it? Let's start with this one. Then I have some more questions coming in. I will share that.
Okay. I'm making it very personal here. My biggest challenge was the yo-yo weight. Losing my weight, gaining it, losing my, and it's like, I know so much about everything, and yet this was an issue that I was constantly battling with. The biggest challenge. You asked about the biggest challenge, right? So the way I dealt with it is, one, I realized that even there's quite a big part of me which is human. And as a human, it's quite natural to be very protective. So we don't like to lose anything. So the idea of losing weight, even if it is weight that I don't want, was not something that was very exciting. So I was not going to actually lose weight, right? The second thing I got was that whatever it is I'm resolved about, I have in my life. So even though I've been wanting to lose weight, thinking that I'm resolved about getting to a particular level, I clearly wasn't. because I did have the excess weight. So these two were like the reality thing. Get clear about what you're resolved about, because what you're resolved about is what you have in your life. So I have all my health markers are really good. All that is there, but the weight was still there. So clearly this whole idea of weight being impacting your health markers was not showing up because of the way I was living my life. However, it was still there. And I kept wanting to lose it, but actually as a human, I didn't like losing anything. So then I go into weight release. I'm happy to release something and be free to move forward, right? So that was one thing that I did, really adopted the release of what it is that I didn't want, connected to what I'm resolved about. And then I made a declaration that I'm going to find a way of medicine-free living and get healthy. And that led me to this amazing discovery of the circadian set points, the 7 circadian set points that are necessary for us living a harmonious life physically. And I've taken that on. The 7 circadian set points include sleep, water, heat, light, food, electromagnetic balance. Those are some of the set points. So that's how I dealt with that particular challenge. Because you asked me a personal question, I'm giving you a personal response here. Good to examine what it is, what's at the core of this challenge. So for me, it was loss, no, release instead. Want, okay, maybe someday, one day in the future, versus resolve. And it is through the resolve that led me to the circadian set point discovery. And it's really beautiful how my life is progressing from that point on.
Good to hear. And I'll take it also as my personal question, because I used to be very thin, slim at young age. And after a certain age, metabolism went down and some thyroid issues, and I gained weight. And, my children always said, Mom, like my daughter especially, she said, Mom, you will look so nice when you lose 25 kgs or 25 pounds, whatever she said. And I said, my soul is beautiful. I feel good from inside. So, I've seen you with weight, doesn't matter. I love you for who you are. So sometimes it's a conditioning that media puts on your mind. Yeah, health is one thing that you said. It's important for our health. But sometimes so much of pressure from outside, and include that, I can say for my family also, said, Mom, you will look so nice if you lose weight. I said, my soul is progressing. I'm evolving. And that is more important. And my mom was heavy side and I loved her. Till today, I see her picture and I don't see any problem with her, like big circular body. And I loved her. Oh, she brought us in the world. Very grateful. Okay, my next question is, now that you said not to use the word balance, but let me rephrase how I can. How do you manage harmony between work and life? You have already answered it. I was going to say work-life balance, but I have to rephrase after hearing from you about balance and harmony. So maybe you can elaborate on that, please, if you wish to.
I think a succinct summary of everything that I've shared would probably be the answer to this, which is I use the yummy yucky test consistently. So, I just check in with my body. Am I experiencing an uninterrupted flow of yumminess? And if I am, I go ahead and do this. I'm about to take this action. Is it giving me this uninterrupted flow of yumminess? Yes, I do it. If it isn't, okay, is it something that I want to spend my time right now dealing with? If it isn't, then I just put it away, move forward. So I don't make it overly complicated. Like I apply the yummy yucky test. It feels like a little bit long, but it isn't. It's very, very quick. Am I experiencing yumminess? No, I'm not. Do I need to do something about it? No, not right now. Fine. Next thing. So it is like for me that like I said to everyone, when you look at what does harmony feel like in your body, feel that vibe, and that is your yummy. And you'll be able to feel it. Okay, do I feel that? Do I feel the harmony? And if you do, great. If you don't do it. It's all your choice.
Thank you. One more question is cropping up. What important lesson of your life would you like to share with us all, our audience, virtual audience, and all of us? any important lessons? I've learned some from you, but I really want you to tell the audience about it. Please, thank you.
I mean, a few things that I might just share the top 3 lessons. Okay. The first one is about this whole concept of live your passion now. This understanding that whenever you die, some things you'll be satisfied about and some things you won't be. Be it now, be it 10 years, 50 years, 70 years, 20 years, whenever. So given that is just so, live your passion now. Don't delay that. The second thing I would say is, the secret to having whatever it is that you wish to have is simply to be. The formula is be and you have. Allow the doing to flow. That is what is meant by behave. And we've made it behave yourself or you don't get it. Actually, it is be and you have. So choose a be word every single day. Create a practice, like even a timer alarm, for just 30 seconds every hour to check if you're actually being that way. The third thing I would say is stop trying. Every word has an innate vibration. The innate vibration of trying is exhaustion. Trying is so trying. Exhausts you. Stop trying. Don't even use the word try. Because even in using it, your cells go into half exhaustion. Just simply make the decision and act on it. Stop trying. So I say when I ask people, will you do this? Will you take this on? And they say, oh, I'll try. I say, no, you don't try. You do it or you don't do it. Either way is fine. Because it gives you a lightness of being. Those are the 3 top ones that I would say that are worthy of sharing, all in service of harmony.
Beautiful, beautiful. And one thing also you told, expect and accept miracles. And for you, miracles have become the norm of life. And believe me, after experiencing so many incidents in my life of late, I realize there are miracles abound, aground, everywhere. And we just have to be accepting and expecting also. Expectations is a good word in a positive sense, and accept it with grace, gratitude, and immense gratitude. Very nice.
And Meenaji, I always say that to me, my life's work is all about humans and humanity connecting to this reality, expecting and accepting miracles as their norm. A miracle is where something beautiful occurs that makes your heart sing. The fact that your heart is beating, that is the song of the heart. So miracle is here. It's just a matter of you acknowledging what that is. It could just simply be the fact that we are able to talk to one another. All of us are gathered here in the morning. The fact that Maven Magic is doing this work and they show up every single day with more wisdom to share with people. How amazing is that? Full of miracles. Makes my heart sing every single day.
Yes, and I would now request Nupurji, please, in the chat box, I saw a few questions. If you would like to read it aloud. And Mynooji, please, over to you, Nupurji.
Thank you so much, Meenaji. And thank you, Mynooji, for a beautiful, beautiful explanation of work-life balance. You have I would say, one quotation before I'm opening the floor for audience to ask their question. You don't have to make yourself miserable to be successful. Success isn't about working hard, it's about working smart. So you are working smart and sharing all your knowledge to work smart. So I really appreciate your views on this work-life balance. And now, floor is open for audience to ask their questions if they have any. So please unmute yourself and ask Mynooji what all you have in mind.
I just wanted to know how to find your passion.
How do you find your passion? Okay. So always good to ground it in reality. right? So I always say, okay, let's first of all engage with what does it feel like when you feel passion. Just focus on the feeling in your body, because your body is the one that's going to give you that indication. You know, so if I was to say to you right now, if you were to imagine that you are living your passion, doesn't matter that you don't know what that is. Where in your body do you feel passion? Can you share?
That's what I am trying to understand. No? See,
No, no,
I
don't
am
worry
more
about
resigned now.
the actual content of it. I want to get the feeling of it, right? So the first thing is to actually feel the feeling of passion. Do you have a sense of that? And if you don't, it's okay.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel what you like, that
Okay.
is there.
Okay. But you don't know if that is your passion.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's
At
it's
this stage, actually, I have accomplished whatever I just tried, but I am now 74, 75.
yeah.
So at this stage, what should I continue? That's what I'm trying to find my new passion.
Yes. So whenever we have an experience like that, it's always great to just go back to base camp. And the base camp basically is you still have life, you're still breathing.
Yes.
There is only one
Yes,
purpose to
that's
life.
true.
Yes, there is only one purpose to life, which is to come alive. So you literally start engaging with living your life in such a way that you feel that aliveness in you. It could be big things, small things, whatever it is. Coming alive is really the ultimate, is really the root of, lies at the root of whatever it is that you choose to be your passion. So share, start looking at, if I was to look at the last 12 months, what are the things I've engaged in that made me feel alive? If I was to look at the last 2 years, what are the things I engaged in that made me feel alive? What you're doing here is you're starting to create your little treasure trove of your own actions that make you have that experience of aliveness. And then, like, literally, okay, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, even if it is one or two things, just take it and say, okay, I'm actually going to spend my day doing this. Create the B, choose the B word. B word is a very good way of staying on track of that experience of aliveness. Choose your B word. It could be, I'm going to be joy today. And start proactively looking at as you're doing something, and you'll forget often. I've chosen to be joy, and then you carry on with your day and you forget. But if you have this little bit of an alarm that comes in, you just pause. In that last hour, was there anything that gave me joy? Tomorrow your B word may be be magnificent. Whatever you choose, it's your choice. Start creating your own B list that you choose from. And that will support you even more to build your treasure trove of aliveness. That would be a very good starting point.
My B is
Yes.
love, joy, and happiness.
Okay, great. Great. So you choose one for today. What are you choosing? Be joy, be happy, be love, be happy, be what?
Be love.
Be love. Okay, great. So you are actually going to check on that an hour from now. But do this work, where you look back over the last 12 months and look at what is it that made you feel that you felt alive. It could be a run, it could be talking to someone, it could be reading a book, it could be watching something on, but really all I'm doing here is getting your mind to understand that you already have taken this action. Your cellular memory gets very awakened. So you become more aware of it. As you start checking in that you're being love, and you've already started creating this treasure trove of aliveness, you start integrating that as your being, and you start having more of aliveness. Another very important thing that we are doing here, which is you're honoring your own worthiness, you're honoring your own choices. That is a very important aspect of aliveness as well.
Yes, true, very true.
Okay.
Well, I have done landmark. It was very much there. First be and then you can have it.
Absolutely. That is ontology, the science of being. Landmark Foundation is ontology.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. Be and
Great.
you.
Great. So great. And I would like
Thank you.
some more questions from the audience.
Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I had a I don't know, maybe a strange kind of a question. Since the topic is for work-life balance, so I would like to talk about the work part.
Yes.
And I think in today's world, basically, we've got two kinds of work that we do. One is this whole thing which we people is sitting in the cities, we sitting in air-conditioned rooms. We work on this, whatever this whole business of this corporate world that has come into the city life in a big way. And most of us who conduct whatever workshops, all these things, I mean, these so-called great spiritual movements that we talk about, these are all concerned with people who live in cities and who have got a lot of money. So they are more into this thing of money making. Oh, business mein loss ho gaya, so bahut tension ho gaya. Now I have to find solace in some spiritual school. So this is one way of working. This is one profession where money, a lot of intake and output of money is involved, and the incoming and outgoing of money involves a lot of stress. The second profession, the second part of the work is a professional work. Professional work means the work of a lawyer or a work of a doctor or a work of a farmer or a work of where my work is not dependent on what I feel like doing. My work is dependent what the other person wants. So if tomorrow a farmer decides not to grow food and take a break from life and spend it in as a holiday, we all will die without food.
Correct.
Or for a matter, if a doctor says today I don't want to work and he loses out on 2 emergencies, that patient will die. Or a lawyer, if he misses an appointment in the court and the cases get postponed. So I don't know whether I'm able to explain what I want to explain.
Yes.
So there's two kinds of professions. One is this corporate world, which is in a world on its own. And the other part is one where the profession depends on the other person. It doesn't depend on the person who is, I can't take a break. So this thing, I don't decide my work-life balance. My patient decides my work-life balance. So even if I have some work, I have to postpone the work and I have to attend to that patient. There is no balance there.
So your question.
My question is, this whole thing about all these things of problems cropping up in different people and different kind of things is basically all related to the corporate world, this whole business world. There is another world to it where the profession is not related to the work. The work is not related to the life. You have to work, otherwise the patient will die.
Okay, so your question.
There is no choice between the work and the life. Work itself is life.
Correct. So your question is, I totally see your 2 points of view.
There is no work-life balance in that situation.
Yes. So, actually we are on the same page in that I'm saying that this whole idea that there is a work-life balance actually is a myth. If you decide that you are going to live your life in a state of harmony, you can be in a corporate, you can be a farmer, you can be a lawyer, you actually will find your state of harmony. It isn't about balancing anything. When you
It
balance,
is also about having no choice, actually.
Say again?
There is no choice also in the matter.
Well, it is not about there is no choice, because the farmer chose to be a farmer. The farmer wakes up every morning and chooses to continue to be a farmer. A lawyer has chosen a profession of being a lawyer. I know many, many lawyers who have done the law degree and practiced law and chosen not to be a lawyer anymore. So it is, you have made the choice, even if you choose to believe that you have no choice, that is a choice you are making. So if you actually accept that I'm going to engage in life, knowing what keeps me in a state of harmony, the way you will practice law, the way you will be a farmer won't feel obligated. When we go into our work feeling we have to, we are already carrying that burden with us. It impacts us. Beat us being a farmer, like if we feel we have to, otherwise, people will die or lives will be lost. And we really don't. And I also know many doctors, I know actually several amazing stand-up comedians are doctors. So, it's not that they chose to step away from feeling obligated. So what I'm saying here is the scenario you've described is a very real scenario. And even in that scenario, going and getting into a state of harmony keeps you in that state of harmony. There is no balancing, there's no juxtaposition that is required then. So I always say, come home to you. Being on this planet is a journey of coming home to you, finding your own harmony, finding your own aliveness, and going forth from that space. May give you some insights in your thoughts, what I've just shared.
Yeah.
Great.
Maybe, yes, you're right. But I would still like to maintain that you are basically making a choice depending on the kind of profession that you are in. I mean, that makes a difference, I think.
It does make a difference in terms of how you will harmonize, how you will find harmony within yourself. And my guidance is go for harmony, find that harmony within you.
Yeah, मतलब वही है कि sometimes, दिल कुछ और कहता है, दिमाग कुछ और करता है, kind of situation does come up. Yeah.
Correct. मैं भी रही हूँ ऐसी लाइफ मैंने भी बहुत जी है.
That is where the harmony gets disrupted. Yeah.
Yes, and the important thing is where I found my freedom was realizing that if my harmony is disrupted, I have made some choices, which is why the disruption is impacting me. It isn't, but because I was giving power away to some external forces disrupting my harmony, I was being disrupted even more. But the moment I took it within me, there are some choices I'm making, which is why the disruptions are taking me out of harmony. I then took control again and found my harmony.
Maybe, but it's a little difficult to do that. I mean, it's a difficult achievement. If you achieve that, then you achieved something really very big, actually.
Yes. I totally get it.
It's not easy.
Yes. And it is only not easy because हमने इतना कुछ externalize करा होता है कि इस चीज को समझना कि आपके अंदर ही है solution requires like a moment by moment presence. तो मुझे काफी साल लगे वहां पहुंचने में. मैं ये नहीं बोल रही हूँ कि मुझे ऐसे ही हो गया, बट जो चीज मैंने सीख ली है वो मैं आप सिखाती हूँ, तो औरों को इतने साल लगने की जरूरत नहीं है. But it's always about taking that next step, है ना?
Yeah, that's great. You have explained so beautifully how to manage this busy schedule in corporate and business life. Anyone else who have any questions?
No, that is very wonderful that we come to this session only to learn from people who have already experienced it. That's why we are in this session. Thank you.
Yes, Naveenji, that's so great.
Thank you.
That's so good. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you, Mynooji, for patiently answering so many questions. So anyone else who have any questions, please we feel free to connect to Mynoo ji.
Thank you. Meena ji said,
Yes, please say.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? I always say now I'm student for life. At one point, I used to be a primary school teacher, enjoyed. And at one point doing business, I thought I know it all. I had that syndrome. And now I'm learning, being humble and learn. There is so much to learn. One life is too short. My question to Mynoo ji is, how come you remain so active and energetic all the time? Because I know your busy schedule. How you do it with full energy, fully present. It can be nighttime, 2 a.m., 2 p.m., anytime. And I have attended some of your seminars, some courses, also
Wow.
your corporate meetings and all. So how you keep that glow and energy? Because sometimes we sleep in the bed and listening to your meditation also. So I keep wondering, I have no obligation, I'm free, retired, and still I'm not able to do. And how you maintain that energy level? Please answer to us and audience. It may benefit them. Thank you.
First thing is, I see that now that I have my gig, that humans and humanity expect and accept miracles as that. There's 8 billion people and growing. We are looking at. So I always look at every moment is a moment that provides a leverage, and it provides a leverage to miracles becoming the norm, expecting and accepting miracles becoming the norm for humans and humanity. So that is what propels me. I really go into what I'm about to engage in. How is that providing me a leverage? And because my logical mind is still very, very strong and active, it is important for me to just engage with that. And once I engage with it, I can already see what is making my heart sing about what I'm about to engage in. That is what revitalizes me every time. And I show up. And the other piece that is really important is that when I show up, I always complete whatever thoughts may be going on in my head. So that, Meena ji, you've done many of my programs, and I always go in please check in with one word. Or if there's anything you're present to, you wish to clear, just go ahead and clear that before we begin. So I do that for myself. Now I can just say a check-in word and I'm there. I don't, whatever was going on in my mind is complete. So then I'm able to be fully present. It's that presence. Remember, presence means you're in the moment. And in the moment, every moment is only a space of miracles. There is no past, there is no future. So why can I not be completely vital at 2 a.m. in the morning, doing a pearl of wisdom, which is a transmission, right? Well, only because in the past, I have, that is a time that I sleep. Well, when you're in the moment, there is no past, there is no future, you're only there. You're in full vitality. So presence enables you to be in the moment. And a moment is a moment of miracles, which is completely rich in vitality. What it does is when you are in the moment, you are being who you truly are, which is a soul being having a human experience. So you are in that soul presence. And you're limitless, you're infinite. Anything is possible. That is the secret.
Wow. So good. That answers your question, Meena ji. And anyone else who have any powerful question for Mynoo ji?
She is very powerful. I would say
Yes.
that. Thank you. Thank you.
Powerful and really
Energetic. Energetic.
Yes, of
And
course.
being present every moment. That's also a practice.
Yes. So good. Thank you for beautiful word, Pritam ji. And anyone else who have any questions? Okay. So thank you, Mynoo ji, for a beautiful session. And you have shared a beautiful overview to balance our life by guiding with what we have to do, what we want passionately, and manage our work by using different strategies that you have shared and apply it with positivity. And thank you for appreciating Maven platform, where we share so many beautiful thoughts, so many beautiful things, so that we can make others' life, our life, beautiful. So thank you for being with us, Mynoo. Thank you, Meena for hosting us and hosting Mynoo. And thank you all the audience out here who were so happily attending Mynoo's session, because she's miracle in herself and she's sharing her miracles with us. And we are so, happy to be with her and sharing all her experiences with us. And thank you, Shabana, and thank you, Mavin team, for making this possible, for making others feel what Mynoo is sharing with us and feel the miracles around us. So for more miracles in future, thank you, Mynoo. Thank you, Meena. Thank you, Shabana. Thank you, everyone out here, all the audience and whole our world who are watching us. Thank you very much.